You are listening to the Central Indiana Scoreboard Show, podcast number 243.1, our daily update on high school, college, and professional sports news in Central Indiana, with a little bit of major national sports news, anything that may be of interest to Central Indiana sports fans.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report, we couldn't possibly thank you enough. Today is April 22nd, 2025. It's a Tuesday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I am your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Madison Grant High School. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Coming up, the NBA and NHL playoffs continue, and we had a busy Monday in local high school sports, plus a really interesting news and note section, and a look ahead to Wednesday in Central Indiana sports. But first, this is the part of the podcast where I beg you to go to our YouTube page, just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It's easy to find, and subscribe. Even if you're already subscribed or following us at SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, we would appreciate it very much if you'd go to YouTube and subscribe to our page. It would help us out an awful lot. Also, earlier Tuesday, we released our weekly IU report with Grant Schaus, talking IU basketball, football, and baseball. And later Tuesday, with the NFL draft coming up on Thursday, we'll release our NFL draft special with our college football guy, Ryan Robinson, and our pro sports guy, Will Rutherford. Of course, Wednesday morning, we'll also have reactions to the Pacers' Game 2 performance against the Bucks. Game 2 of the Pacers-Bucks series is at 7 Tuesday at the Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The Pacers eliminated Milwaukee last year and beat them 117-98 in Game 1, a game that wasn't even that close. Indiana led by as many as 27 early in the third quarter. Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle is certainly a veteran of playoff games, and he believes his team is going to see a completely different Milwaukee team on Tuesday night.
When you win game one in a series, particularly as the home team, game two is just always exponentially tougher. There'll be a renewed level of force that they bring. There's all kinds of possibilities with lineup things, all that kind of stuff. You know, we've got to be ready for anything, not be surprised by anything. But again, it's going to come down to execution of the basics. We got to do a good job with the possession stats. We got to rebound well, and we got to try to make it hard on Giannis. I mean, the guy's one of the top 3 players in the world. I mean, that's pretty obvious as of yesterday.
As of yesterday, I think it's been obvious as of like 2015 that Giannis is one of the best 3 players in the NBA. On Monday, future Hall of Famer Damian Lillard's status for Game 2 was changed from doubtful to questionable after he was cleared from his blood clot scare. He also participated fully in practice for the first time since March 18th. He's expected to be back no later than Game 3 of the series. Tuesday's game is on NBA TV nationally and the FanDuel network locally. The Pacers learned Monday that they'll draft 23rd and 54th in June's NBA draft. Indiana was tied with the Lakers, Nuggets, and Clippers in the standings at 50 and 32, so a 4-way tiebreaker drawing was held on Monday. The Lakers got the 22nd pick, but that will go to Atlanta. The Clippers got the 24th pick, but that one goes to the Clippers. And Denver's 25th selection now belongs to the Orlando Magic. The draft lottery will be determined on Monday, May 12th. There are 3 playoff games Tuesday, a half hour after the Pacers and Bucks tip. The Thunder host the Grizzlies for Game 2 in Oklahoma City. After the Thunder won Game 1 by 51 points. The evening ends with Game 2 of the Timberwolves-Lakers series. Minnesota won Game 1, 117-95. On Monday, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons evened their series with the Knicks by winning 100-94 in New York City. Cunningham scored 33 points and had 12 rebounds in the win. In the nightcap, the Clippers got their series even with Denver after beating the Nuggets 105-102 in an absolute thriller. Kawhi Leonard was vintage Kawhi Leonard with 39 points on 15 of 19 shooting. To the NHL playoffs, after his record-breaking season, Alexander Ovechkin scored his first ever playoff overtime goal to give the Capitals a 1-0 lead over Montreal with a 3-2 victory. In the other game one, LA blew a 14-0 lead. Then Philip Denault scored with 42 seconds left to give the Kings an early series edge over Edmonton. Also Monday, the Winnipeg Jets took a 2-0 series lead with a 2-1 win over the Blues. And the Stars and Avalanche are tied at 1-1 after Dallas beat Colorado 4-3 in overtime. There were 4 games Monday. They were all really good ones. There are 4 more games Tuesday. Carolina looks to go 2-0 against New Jersey at 6 on ESPN. The Maple Leafs and the Senators play at 7:30 on ESPN2 with Toronto up a game. And Vegas looks for a 2-0 series lead at home against Minnesota at 11 on ESPN2. Also, a huge Panthers-Lightning series gets underway at 8:30 on ESPN. High school baseball, Alexandria scored 11 times in the fifth and improved to 6-2 on the year with a 13-3 win over Daleville. Mason Fuller was 2 for 2 with a run and 2 RBIs, and Trevor Martin was 2 for 4 with a run and an RBI. Caleb Bacon scored 2 of the Broncos' 3 runs. Daleville is now 4-3. LaPel is 8-0 after Monday's 9-0 win over Monroe Central. Kai Newman threw 6 one-hit shutout innings and struck out 15. Ray Smith drove in 3, and Camden Novak scored 3 times for the Bulldogs. Oak Hill fell to 5-5 on the season with a 10-2 loss to Manchester. Ethan Hendricks had a home run and 5 RBIs for the 6-2 Squires. Chase Flannery was 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. And Delta's 20-2 win over Eastbrook. Blake Jacobs was 2 for 2 and scored a run for Eastbrook. Delta is now 4-3. The Panthers 5-5. Brew jumped out to an 8-0 lead and beat Marion 9-4 Monday. Aaron Muller had 2 doubles and Isaiah Freshwater had 2 RBIs for the 0-7 Giants. Yorktown scored 12 times in the first 3 innings and beat Muncie Central 12-1. Noah Lovall had a home run and 3 RBIs, and Reed Turner scored twice and drove in 2 for the 5-3 Tigers. Chase DeWitt went 3 for 3 and drove in 5 runs, and Michael Eric and Tegan Himley both had 4 RBIs in Northwestern's 21-5 win over Sheridan. Himley had a pair of triples for 8-2 Northwestern. Westell lost its first Mid-Eastern Conference game 9-6 at Union City when the host Indians scored 8 times in the 6th inning. Grayson Mealy hit his first career home run for the 3-5 Warriors. Taylor led Cambridge City 1-0 through 5 innings before giving up 4 in the 6th and a 4-1 loss. The Titans are now 0-6. And Burris won for the second time in 3 games, a 5-4 win at Randolph Southern Monday. Dane Adams threw 6 strong innings, surrendering just 2 runs on 3 hits with 12 strikeouts in the win. Some other scores of interest around the area. Newcastle beat number 9 Shenandoah 14-10. Huntington North got by Wabash 12-3. Clinton Central blanked North Miami 10-0. 4A number 9 New Pal 4, Whiteland 3. Bloomington South shut out Hamilton Southeastern 4-0. 4A number 7 Westfield beat Carmel 4-1. It was Center Grove 6, Fishers 2. And Class A number 7 Rossville with a big 5-4 win over Noblesville. Zoe Kopis hit a walk-off single in the 8th inning to lift 2A number 14 Frankton past previously unbeaten Shenandoah 2-1. Paige Parker allowed just 1 run on 5 hits and struck out 10 Raiders and is now 2-1 on the season. Frankton is 4-2. Jonna Hyatt hit a home run and drove in 5 runs, and McKenna Craig, May Ricks, and Carly Holiday all had 3 RBIs. And 6-2 Madison Grant's 20-1 win over Tri-Central. Ricks, a freshman, had 2 doubles and scored 4 times, and Madeline Klaus and Patricia Van Mater each had a triple. Adriana Perez scored the run for 2-2 Tri-Central. Randy Casto and Delaney Elliott combined on a 2-hitter, and Eastbrook beat Northfield 11-0. Elliott also went 3 for 3 with a double, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs for 5-3 Eastbrook. Oak Hill had 20 hits in a 16-5 win over Peru. 7 different Golden Eagles had multiple hits, led by Maddie Archer and Carson Wiley, who had 3 hits and 3 RBIs apiece. Julie Hawkins scored 3 times for the 4-2 Golden Eagles. Lila Greer threw a no-hitter and struck out 8 Wabash batters and missed the Sinowals' 11-0 win over the Apaches. The only runner Greer allowed was a hit batter. Jennicaus was 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and 4 RBIs. Mrs. Sinowal is now 6-1 and has won 4 in a row. Daleville scored 3 times in the bottom of the 7th and beat Blackford 4-3. Miley Womack's third hit drove in the game's tying and winning runs. Ari Rector and Brinley Holden combined on a 3-hit shutout in Pendleton Heights' 11-0 win over rival Anderson. Rector threw 4 innings and allowed no runs on just 1 hit and struck out 6. Cassie Hayes and Aubrey Fox both scored 3 times for the 5-5 Arabians. Cathedral jumped out to a 6-0 lead and beat Kokomo 10-3. Spencer Martin had a pair of doubles and an RBI for the 5-3 Wildcats. Chittard scored 5 times in the second inning and beat Hamilton Heights 9-3. Heather Cray scored twice and Kevin Roten had a double and scored a run for the 5-4 Huskies. Kaylee Holmes picked up her first varsity pitching win in Yorktown's 29-0 win over Muncie Central. She had just 1 walk as well and struck out 8 batters in the victory. 4 Tigers, Macy Nixon, Hadley Bernard, Danae Caldwell, and Riley Perkins, all crossed the plate 4 times in the win. Yorktown is now 5-1, Central 0-3. Kylie Miller struck out 15 West Lafayette batters and allowed just 1 hit in Western's 5-inning 10-0 win over the Red Devils. She's now 4-1 on the season, and Western is 7-1. Brinley Erb hit for the cycle and scored 4 times, and Emma Rowe homered in the win. Rochester scored 8 times in the 6th and beat Eastern 15-6. The Zebras had 18 hits in the win, 5 of them from Jaden Field, who had 4 RBIs in the win. Marley Cone drove in 4 runs for the 0-10 Comets. Bailey West threw a complete game 3-hit shutout in Westdale's 8-0 win over Union City. She struck out 12 and is now 3-2 on the year. Offensively, Kinsey Anderson had a single, a double, and a triple and scored twice for the 5-3 Warriors. Clinton Prairie beat Sheridan 11-1 in its Hoosier Heritage opener Monday. Sadie Welliver was 3 for 3 with a double and had 4 RBIs in the win. Abby Merritt homered in the second inning for Sheridan's only run. Some other local scores of interest: Mount Vernon beat Newcastle 8-5 in a Hoosier Heritage contest. Shelbyville beat Greenwood 14-2. It was Fisher's 19, Lawrence North 7. 4A number 10 Noblesville blanked Harrison 5-0. Zionsville beat Greenfield Central 7-5. Western Boone topped Clinton Central 14-1. And it was Logansport 14, North Miami 3. We got results from one high school track meet. Eastern edged Tri-Central by 4 points to win a 3-way meet with the Trojans in Delphi Monday. Ava Kantz won the 800, 1600, and was part of the Comets winning 4x400 relay team. Cora Gunderson won the high jump and was part of 2 winning relay teams for Eastern. In high school girls tennis, Frankton beat Eastern Hancock 4-1 with wins at number 2 and number 3 singles by Sloan Harrison and Lily Hall, and at both double spots. Harrison won a thriller 7-5, 6-7, 5-7 in the tiebreaker, and a 10-2 win in the third set super tiebreaker. Caitley Dickinson was Madison Grant's only winner, 6-3, 6-2 over Meek Stalker in a 4-1 loss to Blackford. Dickinson is now 3-1 on the season. For Blackford, Evelyn Goley at number 2 singles and Jessica Brinkeroff and Lorelei Heil both won 6-0, 6-0 for the Bruins. Huntington North beat Marion 3-2. Winning for Marion was Shaylee Castaneda at number 1 singles 6-2, 7-5. And at number 1 doubles, Nyla Hubert and Abby Now won a 7-6, 6-3 victory for the Giants. To high school golf, Madison Grant beat Taylor 206-220 in a dual meet. Taylor's Ben Weinkoop was the medalist with a 47, followed closely by teammate Isaiah Stryker with a 49. Madison Grant was led by Mason Seward's 50. Bryce Yagi, Leo Hood, and Xander Gillespie all shot 52s for the 3-1 Argyles. LaPel beat Lawrence Central 164-212 in a dual meet. Maverick Beeson shot a match best 39. Also for the Bulldogs, Cale Paddock and Jade Swanson shot 41s. Crawford Douglas a 43 and Owen Garber a 44. Chris Greer was medalist with a 41 as Anderson finished second to Greenfield Central in a 3-way meet. Greenfield won with a 182. Anderson shot a 207, and Morristown a 220. And Hamilton Heights won a three-way meet over Frankton and Sheridan Monday at Bear Slide. Lafayette Jeff won 25-12, 25-15, and 25-12 at Kokomo in boys volleyball on Monday. Some Central Indiana news and notes. Tri-Central has named Brandon Hagan its new head football coach. Hagan is a former Northwestern defensive coordinator and replaces Shane Arnold as the Trojans head coach. After 13 years as an assistant coach at IU East, former Jay County star Tyler Rigby has been named the new head coach at his alma mater. Rigby led the Patriots to the state championship game in 2006 and was a Mental Attitude Award recipient. Already the 2025-26 state favorites, Fishers added former Lawrence North star Kai McGrew to their roster. McGrew enrolled at Fishers on Monday, according to Kyle Neddenrip of the Indianapolis Star. He averaged 13.5 and 8.3 rebounds as a junior at Lawrence North. Former Winchester, Ball State, IU, and again Ball State star Peyton Sparks has entered the transfer portal. He's out of eligibility, but he'll be petitioning the NCAA for a grad season, according to the Star Press sports editor, Kate Hampton. Crew Gibson from Floyd's Knobs is committed to play basketball at Indiana Wesleyan. It was announced Monday that former Anderson star Sarah Armington has been inducted into the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. IU freshman Will Moore was named Big Ten Baseball Freshman of the Week. IndyCar announced an open test at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Wednesday and Thursday this week. Parking will be free in Lot 3P. Gates will open at 9 a.m. both days, and viewing will be in Turn 2. Purdue and new head coach Barry Odom have landed former four-star recruit and former Georgia Bulldog receiver Nitro Tuggle. He is from Northwood. He caught 3 passes for 34 yards as a true freshman for the Bulldogs last season. Football head coach Thomas Tyree has left Southwood for Three River Conference rival Whitco. And Mount Vernon's Aiden Doherty announced Monday that on Twitter that he'll continue his track and field career at Anderson University. And Yorktown's Henry Weaver announced he'll play football at Hanover beginning next fall. Looking ahead to Tuesday, the local high school highlights. Pendleton Heights will hold an invitational in track and field. Elwood and Oak Hill are at Eastbrook. Frankton and Mississinawa go to Blackford. And Madison Grant hosts Alexandria. On the baseball field, Frankton goes to LaPel for a big early season game. Wabash is at Elwood. Hamilton Heights goes to Tipton. And Western hosts Logansport. In softball, Elwood goes to Sheridan. Frankton is at Mount Vernon. Mississinawa hosts LaPel. Hamilton Heights is at Tipton. Tri-Central goes to Carroll, and Alexandria travels to Anderson. In girls tennis, Madison County champion Alexandria goes to Shenandoah. Frankton hosts Jay County. Tipton hosts Eastern. LaPel is at Greenfield Central. And Kokomo is at Western. And in boys golf, Elwood hosts Heritage Christian University. Westdale is at Alexandria. Southwood and Wabash are at Oak Hill. LaPel hosts Yorktown and Mount Vernon, and Hamilton Heights goes to Tipton. Couple of big games in college softball on Tuesday. Bethel is at Crossroads leading Indiana Wesleyan for 2, starting at 4 o'clock. The Wildcats lead Marion by a game with 6 regular season games left to go. Taylor is 28-16, has won 4 in a row, and looks to play spoiler in the Crossroads and actually help rival Indiana Wesleyan with a couple of games at Marion on Tuesday, starting at 3 o'clock. And Anderson hosts Wilmington, Ohio in a doubleheader, starting at 3:30. In college baseball, Austin P is at Purdue at 6. Then on Wednesday, looking ahead, IU and Ball State baseball and softball both play Wednesday. Baseball is at 6 at Victory Field in downtown Indianapolis. And softball is in Bloomington, also at 6. And now you know everything we know about Central Indiana sports. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Central Indiana Sports Report. Appreciate it as always. If you like what you hear and you'd like us to continue to grow and thrive, please share the Central Indiana Sports Report with your friends and family. We humbly thank you in advance. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. and I love Susie.